that close together and how that affects a person when they're pretty young. So what happened to me was, that I moved to Los Angeles. We moved in with our producer, thank God. No rent, except there was rent. I was leaving it. That was okay, I didn't mind. It was like if we were making music and we were doing this thing, it was cool. We were making Buckingham Mix. So anyway, that happened. We made the record, put the record out in 1973. It was just, it really sort of in our eyes, it just sort of tanked. We knew that it was a really, really good record, so that was depressing. So what you do when that happens to you in those days, and probably now, you go and you convince somebody to let you go into their studio when nobody's in there, and you make what's called a spec album, which is speculation. A speculation album. So that's what we were doing. We were at Sound City, famous Sound City, and we were making a spec album. And so Mick Fleetwood calls us up and says, so, it calls me up because I'm the only one who answered the phone. Hello, and it's Mick. Hello, darling. Really. And so there's this band that really would like to have you join their band. And I'm like, why? Because I don't trust anybody by this time. It's been 4 years. I'm like, why? And they go, because they need a guitar player. And I'm like, oh, okay. So my story's got a little twisted here, I have to tell you. Maybe that's kind of because I'm hit from here and I'm a little nervous. So I'm not going to go back and fix the story. But what happened was, our producer called and said to me, Mick Fleetwood from a band called Fleetwood Mac is going to call you guys and ask you if you want to join. However, I'm going to let you in on the secret, Stevie, because I know you don't know who these people are. There's already a woman in the band. So what they're looking for is a guitar player because their guitar player is leaving. So I'm like, okay, so is this a good band? And he goes, it's a very good band. It's an English kind of blues band, slightly pop, but more bluesy. And I'm like, okay, so when's he calling? And he goes, probably tonight. It was like the last night of 1974. So he calls on the last night of 1974, and he does have this very, very English accent. And he says, I say, hello. He says, hello, darling. And I'm like, who is this, right? I don't even realize it's the guy from the band yet. I'm like, hello. And he says, this is Mick Fleetwood from Fleetwood Mac. And we were just wondering if you, Lindsay, that's how I pronounce it, Lindsay, could come and have dinner with us tomorrow night at this great Mexican food restaurant. In my mind, I'm going like, it's a free meal. And in the other part of my mind, I'm like, okay. So I'm going, we would love to. So we go the next night. And we pull up, and we're in my Toyota that has no reverse. It's not a fancy car. And they pull up in two white Cadillacs that are like the ones with the big fins and the red lights on the back, and they kind of jalopy up in their Cadillacs, right? And I'm like, my dad had beautiful cars, so I'm like, okay. So they get out of the car, and Mick is just dressed beautifully. I mean, just the best, and the beautiful fob watch, and the gorgeous suit, and he's gorgeous. And Christine's beautiful, and John's really handsome. And so it's like, I'm like, okay, we have hit the mother lode. So we all go in, we sit down, and we're grubby in comparison. So we sit down, and we have a fabulous dinner. Little did I know that it had been put on the table to Christine McVie that if she didn't like me, they were not, that it was off the table. Because they were going to make her be in a band with another girl if she didn't like her. That was me. So anyway, the second we sat down, Chris and I were just like, we're just like tight, right? And everybody's like, they've basically forgotten that the rest of us are even here. And we basically had, and our like friendship was cemented in that moment. So we left, it was fabulous, went home, the next day Mick calls and says, so you're in, and we are going into rehearsal day after tomorrow at some rehearsal studio, and we're going to make a record. And I'm like, sounds good to me, Mick. We will be there. You just give me an address, and we'll be there. And I'm going to quit my cleaning lady job and my 3 restaurants.